Welcome to the show, everybody. I know. It's a random pop up Wednesday. You guys just never know what you're going to get over here at 12th Street Talk Back with your girl, Victoria J. You guys, I had to come on tonight. I normally don't have guests until on Fridays, but this young lady is just amazing and I wanted to have her on for a while now, and our schedules clicked. And here she is. So, we're welcoming to the show today Amanda Penny. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about Amanda before we jump right into everything tonight. I hope you guys have been pouring into yourself. Amanda is 19 years old. She's from Long Island, New York, and she has a podcast. Not only does she have a podcast, Amanda comes from a small town in Long Island, New York, where all they care about is sports. Being one of the first young ladies to graduate with her own podcast that she started at 16, she now has a following of over 19,000 listeners. Her podcast, Amanda's World. Amanda has interviewed guests such as Barstool Sports, MTV, Young Hollywood, and etc., such as Teen Wolf Vampire Diaries, Disney Channel shows, Netflix, and etc. Amanda is passionate about mental health, her struggle with ADHD, anxiety. She as well is passionate about drug and alcohol awareness. Guys, please welcome to the show Amanda Penny from Amanda's World Podcast.
Hi,
How are you doing tonight,
thank
Amanda?
you for having me on. I'm sorry about my schedule. I'm a full-time college student and my schedule's been crazy.
Well, you know what? I commend you for all that you have already done in your short time span. It blew my mind just reading your bio and everything that you put in. I mean, I'm not your parent, but I can say I am so proud of you. And I love to see the young community just go out and thrive like that. I have two young adults, well, actually, three young adults myself, and my passion is bridging the gap of communication in our community. So when I saw your bio, I
Yes.
had no choice but to, shoot my shot and say,
Of
I
course.
know we're eons older than each other, but
Yeah.
I thought your story was so inspiring. So
I,
tell us a little bit about yourself.
so
You
my
said
name's
you're a college student.
my name's Amanda Penny. I'm 19 years old. I'm from Long Island, New York, better known as Amanda's World, the podcast. I'm from the be exact Northport, Suffolk County. I've been podcasting since age 16, doing social media itself since age 12. I had started social media off a girl in my homeroom cell phone because I didn't have a phone at the time, and from there it just expanded. I had found out that one of my friends, well, like we weren't speaking at the time, was doing social media back in 2021. And I was like, ooh, I kind of want to go back to social media, but I don't want to copy him since he decided to log me out of my YouTube channel that we shared. So I started a podcast. My one goal was to get more followers than him. I can probably say I reached that goal in a week. I had 1,000 listeners by the end of my first month. So I just kept going and fell in love with it. 2 years later, I started talking to that person again, actually had them on the podcast. I confirmed that we're no longer speaking again. But it's really funny because I just never expected to gain something from this or to have a platform like this. Like I
Right.
never would have imagined it. So it's crazy to see this now. I'm also studying broadcasting and on screen studies at SUNY Oswego currently. I live
Hmm.
just to confirm to my viewers who might see this, I no longer have a roommate. I live in a medical single now, and
Right. Wow, that's a full schedule.
yeah,
And being in the podcasting world, how long have you been podcasting? Since 16, but how many years, I guess I would say?
it's gonna be 4 years. Wait, 2021, 2022. It's been 3 years or 4 years,
So
something around
you
there.
got into the game like when during the pandemic when everybody was making a podcast, just
But
everybody was out there just trying to get the information out.
Yeah,
I
I
guess that was
started because it was like quarantine. I wanted something to do and I was bored and wanted to get back at the guy that had screwed me over. And now I have a following and I love it.
I know, I know. You said you had over 1,000 listeners or 1,000 downloads,
Oh, 1,000
doing your
first month.
get out of town.
Yeah.
Being in the podcast world myself, I know that is not an easy feat. So you must have been talking about some things, girl.
Oh, so I will be so real. I was like looking at what gained me views. I told the story of my first heartbreak calling out a guy, and it had gotten me hundreds of views. And I just kept
Oh,
it going, and that's how I slowly gained my following, was calling him out. And funny
right.
enough, 3 years later, he was a guest on my podcast in July. So it's funny how things turn out. But like it was really funny because I like gained a following like talking bad about him. And then like it was really funny. I was in 10th grade at the time, and my old history teacher had gone up to me, was like, "Oh, so where's your podcast at?" And I like checked and it said I had 1,000 listeners. I was like, I didn't even promote it. Like how? And then I looked at my analytics. It was because I had called out somebody.
Oh, well. Hey, that's one way of doing it.
And I told him my nickname, just to be clear. I never would use his real name on my podcast. He'd be so mad at me because he subscribes.
Oh.
But I used a nickname, and it just gave me a lot of attention.
Oh, well, much respect for doing that.
Besides
So
that,
on your journey, and I'm curious because, I'm in the podcasting world just like you. On your journey, you mentioned promoting. Did you do any promoting to get where you're at? I mean,
no,
interviewing mega stars like from Teen Woods and the Disney Channel. Did you jump in somebody's DMs? I guess
it's
I'm
young
asking.
people. I didn't do any. I haven't. I hardly post my podcast on social media, and I such people like, you didn't post this for a man, you didn't post that for a man. I'm like, what's the, like? I just can't keep up with it. I do zero promoting besides the DMs that I send trying to book guests. That's it. I get people at me like, "Oh, why don't you post on TikTok with your content? You do really well." And I found it once or twice, but like
Hmm.
I do zero promoting, and I had actually just hit. Wait, I think I had just recently hit 20,000 listeners.
Wow.
Yeah,
Amazing. Well, congratulations.
thank you. So yeah, I don't do any promoting for it, and I get tons of people like, "Oh, you don't promote it." I'm like, no.
So how do you find your guest?
I just DM people, shoot my shot, email, Instagram, whatever. Like I just build connections.
Mhm, mhm, that's good. Congratulations. One of my little buddies is on in the chat, Chronicles of a Virgo. I guess I should let you know sometimes people come up to the stage and wanna ask questions if it's okay with you, if they decide.
I love it.
Okay. Well, listen, let's move on because I did, do a little bit of research because it was so short
I'm
notice.
sorry for that.
Um Tell us a little bit about, and you told us how it got started, how you
Mhm.
started your podcast. Tell us a little bit about what we can expect when we click on Amanda's World on any of our listening platforms, such as Apple or Spotify or and all that good stuff. What
I
can
make
we
a face
expect?
like that because okay, the personality that I am like in person is how I am on my podcast. I'm very unhinged. Like I've been told that I have no filter. I'm very unhinged, and I do this thing where I'll just upload solo episodes, and you never know what you're walking into on Amanda's World. Like you never know what you're what you're walking into. Like I've interviewed kids from my hometown. You never know what you. It could be like a really chill episode, or it could be me going absolutely fucking crazy. Like you never know what you're gonna expect on my pod. Like who can I use? Okay, so I interviewed this kid back in July who was from my hometown, and it was
Mhm.
the first episode that I had uploaded that my chemistry was matched to perfection with this kid. It was absolutely insane. People thought I was dating him. That's how big our chemistry was. But like I come from a not. You never know.
Mhm.
I vibe with the person. I don't vibe. You never know what you're expecting.
Oh, wow. Well, that's
Anything.
good though. You wanna keep them guessing. We wanna keep them guessing. So, what are you most passionate about? You listed a couple things. What are you most passionate about? I think I sent you
Yeah.
some information about myself. I have my oldest daughter is ADHD, and you spoke about that, and you spoke about anxiety
Yeah.
and being an activist for alcoholism and drug awareness. So tell us a little bit about your passions and what you want us
It,
to learn.
all three, and I forgot one. I'm gonna start with pancreatic cancer. My family friend had died from pancreatic cancer when I was in the 5th grade. She was going to get
Wow.
surgery and ended up making it. So I always try to raise money for her. It actually will be 6 years or 7 years this upcoming this month since she has passed. Then
Mm,
alcoholism. My dad is a recovering alcoholic. He is currently 2 years sober. I have seen what that stuff does to you. It's absolutely insane. And I'm very
mhm,
active on that. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do any of that. And I just
mhm,
find it so like important to promote that. Another one that I
mhm,
think is very important is pedestrian safety. I can't get into too many details about that, but I had gotten into an accident. So I'm very
mhm,
into pedestrian safety as well. Then I have ADHD and anxiety. I got diagnosed at age 6 with both. And yeah, I'm very big into my mental health. Like I'm very honest with my viewers about it, which my mother's not so cool.
mhm, mm,
But I'm very honest
mhm.
with my viewers when it comes to all that.
Oh, yeah, you definitely gotta be honest and open, especially in this world, of podcasting when you got so much to say. I believe honesty is the best policy. I shared with you
Yeah.
earlier that I had a small feat with alcoholism, and that's how I landed in the podcast world when I kicked the habit, and, God helped me with that. Once I was done, I had all this extra time on my hand, an empty nester, um
Mhm.
had a lot to say, getting on my husband's nerves because he said I talk a lot, and I was like, "You know what? Imma start a podcast," and plus I'm a Virgo.
I mean,
We are friendly people, we just like to
you
talk.
know,
Yes, yes, yes. So, you said, that you were passionate about your, best friend, and I'm sorry for your loss. You said it's been about 6
it
years
was
now?
it was my grandmother's best friend. She was like a second mother to me, this lady, and she had passed
Mhm,
in the 5th grade, and unfortunately, I didn't get. She came to my house to say goodbye. She was having surgery, and I wasn't home, and I didn't get to see her one more time. So she died
wow.
very unexpectedly. She didn't make it out of surgery and got put in hospice there and ended up dying.
Oh, wow.
So she was going for her cancer surgery, like removal or something, and something else had happened. And she had passed
Oh, yeah, that's sad. That well,
away.
I wish you luck on and how are you fundraising with that? Or
I
is it something
have a
that you're
to check really quick because I have two organizations. I work with an organization called PanCan, and I raised money in her name. And then last year, this was before I had broken my arm. I had done a dunk tank, literally the week before I broke my arm. I did a dunk tank at school and raised almost $600 my senior year doing a dunk tank. So, any type of money I can raise, I raise.
wow, wow,
I
wow.
was going to do a dunk tank again, but because of my arm, I can't.
Mhm, mhm. I broke my elbow, so I know how that goes.
I broke my
Well,
uterus.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Well, um with that being said, I want to kind of to dive in a little bit about the ADHD and how you feel. Um, because I know me and my daughter, we've had countless of talks, and I'm always trying to hold on and like micromanage her life. And she's shown me day by day and step by step that, Mom, I got this. You're a full time student running a podcast and was diagnosed with ADHD. How do you handle all of that? I know my daughter has tons of energy.
So
Sometimes
I've
go
always been
ahead.
a very energetic kid since age 6. I'm still very energetic and talkative. And my
Mhm,
mom's the complete opposite. She's like, "You're on your own. You're doing this on your own." Da da da. I go to all my appointments on my own now. I do everything for it myself, except she gets my medicine and brings it up and mails it to me because I can't get. There's no pharmacy up here that I can get my medicine from. But like,
mhm,
I never thought about it like that. I've just always had ADHD. I got diagnosed at age 6. I've always just managed it by using my energy wisely. I know when my Adderall works in the morning, that's when I need to get stuff done, or else my attention span is gone. That's one thing that I have learned.
mhm,
Also on impulse medications, I have very bad impulses. I have impulsivity, ADHD, anxiety. My anxiety is another story, but my ADHD, I've just always it's always been a thing. I've never really known how I manage it. I just do. It's something
mhm,
like
mhm,
I know like, my mother's given me a lot of freedom with it, and
mhm, mhm,
family. My brother has ADD, So it's just like, I don't know. I've always just managed my ADHD. I don't know
Yeah.
how I just do. It's just something I'm used to at this point.
Mm-hmm. Well, I will tell you with my daughter, the only thing I think she manages it very well. The only thing that I would say at a very young age, the medications that she was on suppressed her appetite a lot.
Also,
So, did that happen to you?
yeah, I have that issue to this day, but I've had that issue since I've taken this medication.
Yeah, yeah. It can fluctuate. Sometimes she can eat a lot and sometimes it just suppressed it. And I mean, it went for like days. And
So,
I always try to, like I said, I'm a micromanager. And as she's 27 now, so as she's grown out of some of the medications, she's managing pretty well. She's managing pretty well on it. I did, however, also want to dive in to your thoughts about um the podcasting industry. Since you have been so successful in it, what would you say to someone that wants to enter it? I think the last time I heard it was over 4 million podcasts, and everybody is not going to be like as much of success as you have right now. Some people struggle in it, some people do it for a hobby, some people do it as a career. What would be some of your suggestions on diving
so
into this
I'd
world?
say I know like two other podcasts that are teen run. That's like 16, 17-year-olds. If you're a
Mhm,
teenager wanting to do it, do it. You have a better chance with the industry because you're younger and people nowadays like the younger audience is what I've learned.
mhm,
But also like if you're looking to do a podcast, do it. I to this day I don't know how it happened, but like it's worth it. You just got to be like consistent because if you're not, you're gonna lose your following. That's one thing that I've learned is that you got to be
mhm.
consistent and just keep on posting. And yeah,
So how can they find you? Or do you have a YouTube channel, or you
you
just do it from your hosting
I have
platform?
Spotify and Apple. It's called under Amanda's World. But okay, my Apple. There's three different podcasts because Apple won't give me ownership to Amanda's World. So it's this one. This is the podcast that everything's being uploaded to. Is
Mhm,
with this logo on Apple, and then
mhm.
Spotify. It's this
I'll
because
have it in the show notes too for you guys.
I had
Um,
1 second. And Spotify, it's this. A minute. 1 second, sorry. I know it's on like everything else, but these are the two that I checked. Spotify and this is
mhm, mhm.
yeah,
I
and then
can
my
see that really.
Amanda underscore Penny underscore.
Oh, wow. So tell us about some of your experiences hobnobbing with some of the Teen Wolf and what else did you say? Barstools. Tell
Oh,
us about how those experiences, did you talk to just Hollywood or directors or
Morgan Evan from the Team Wolf After Show who was the Team Wolf After Show host. I didn't know he was the Team Wolf After Show host. I just knew he produced Team Wolf, but he got on and was like, "Oh, I did the Team Wolf After Show host." I was like, "Shut up!" So I did a full interview with him, and that was like my
mhm,
first big interview. He was so nice. Another one that I did was Eric Bourne. He's the makeup artist for Team Wolf. He does all the makeup. He was super sweet.
mhm,
He follows me on Instagram. I met Don. I don't not Don. Sorry, what was his name? Shoot, he did the makeup for Chucky. I have to check.
mhm,
Not Don. No, his name was Don. I think. 1 second. Don. I met the makeup artist for Chucky, and he did makeup for Michael Jackson. I don't remember his name, but he was very nice. I met Sean.
mhm,
Things Impossible. She's a sweetheart. She follows me on Instagram. Love her. I met Jolie live. I no longer speak to her or contact with her, but she was very nice. I met Nicole Cooch, who works at ABC. She's very sweet. I keep in contact with her. I'm trying to think who else I've met.
I've heard you mention MTV. What did you do with them?
I interviewed this guy named Vinny who interviewed me for MTV. He was very nice. He did an article on me. Um, Disney, I met Hannah Cat Jones. She acted in Disney Channel. She played Dez's girlfriend in Austin Now. She was very sweet.
Mhm,
I met some people from RL American. I met this girl who acted on Shameless. I met
mhm,
Barstool. I know Large and Annie. I keep in contact with Annie. She's very
mhm,
sweet. I've spoken to Brianna Chicken Fry. I've never gotten to do a podcast with her, but I've DM'd with her a couple times just there and then. And then
mhm.
I'm trying to think who else from Barstool. Oh, Alex Bennett, who used to work at Barstool. I used to be in contact with her, but she no longer works for Barstool.
So you've been kinda getting around in the, podcast world, just doing your own thing. Well
I've also got the opportunity to do my own episodes from my hometown, which is like I
mhm,
call it support interviews. And I've had so many people on that I like adore and love, and those like are absolutely my favorite interviews. I've had like some of my best friends on there. That's probably like
mhm.
the interviews I do is when I do my Long Island interviews, and they always do the best.
So you're in school for broadcasting.
Yes,
So how do you like that? Do you see yourself
I like
ever
it.
leaving New York or just kinda staying
So
based there?
school in New York right now. I go to SUNY Oswego. I'm planning on moving to California eventually in the future after I graduate. But I'm gonna do at
Mhm,
least 4 years here just because like it's cheap and I'm out of Long Island, so
mhm,
get a different feel for it.
mhm. So do you love what do you love the most about the broadcasting world? About the whole Hollywood scene? What I guess I would say, do you like the behind the scenes or you're kinda in the front of the camera type of gal? What
I
do you see yourself doing after you graduate?
I love the interviews. Like, okay, so my school's having a thing called Ozfest, and I begged the administration to let me interview the celebrity. And a Boogie with Hoodie is in the running to be
Mhm,
performing here. So I'm
mhm,
fingers crossing that they approve me, because if they approve me, I'm gonna possibly get to interview a Boogie. I don't know anything yet. I'm hoping I'll find out more tomorrow when I email the guy. But it's either gonna be a Boogie, Offset. I don't know who else, but they said if they approve me, I'll get to interview. So
oh,
I'm fingers
wow.
crossing it's a Boogie because I love a Boogie and I really want that interview. So it's just like doing like the behind the scenes, like getting to meet celebrities and interviewing them is my favorite part. And I'm like
Mhm,
manifesting that. I'm also, and this is my contact with little TJ, text me back. I want to do that interview. I was supposed
mhm.
to interview little TJ last year and I had gotten into an accident and didn't get to do the interview.
Oh,
So
yeah.
so they had mentioned something to me about doing the interview now, and I'm waiting for pre-approval, and I really want that interview. So it's like stuff like that. I love meeting like the other celebrities that I'm gonna
Mhm,
get to. I just to be real with you, my industry is more like the rap music that I listen to. So like
mhm.
it's like those type of interviews I want, and I love all the behind the scenes like Hollywood stuff, just all of it in general.
So is this your main thing that you're passionate about, or do you do other things for hobbies in general? I know you said y'all are a big sports town.
Yeah, so I play basketball. I know if I know who sees this. Yes, I do. I picked it up as a quarantine thing, and then my when I had a best friend in like high school, middle school, who taught me how to play, he actually turned down a Villanova scholarship for social media.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, and I can confirm that he's no longer doing social media. So
Wow.
yeah, he taught me how to play basketball. So I play basketball there and then. But besides that, I used to run track. I played I
Mhm.
superintendent.
Well, you definitely was an inspiration to me, just, reading your bio and everything that you talked about. And I wanted my audience, especially my younger audience, to see that if you stay consistent with something, just like you did with Amanda's World, there is no levels that you cannot go
Yes.
to if you stay consistent in what you're doing. And I commend you for, going to school and juggling all the things that you're juggling.
Also, I
Um,
produce and direct. I make short films and stuff on the side too, so I do stuff from that as well.
oh, wow. You're just a busy little bee, ain't you?
Yeah.
Well, I commend you, and I pray that you just go far. You soar as high as you can go in everything that you're doing. I commend you about all the things that you're passionate about, all the awareness, the alcoholism. That's near and dear to my heart. Anytime that I
Yeah.
have the opportunity to talk to someone about my experiences, I do so. ADHD is very near and dear to my heart as well because I have a daughter that's ADHD as well. And just all around being aware, especially you talked about a little bit in your bio about pedestrian safety. Is that where you got into the accident or is that something that
I
happened to
can't
you?
speak on that due to a case that is happening. I
Right.
pedestrian
Okay.
safety is something that is very important. I haven't actually announced it publicly on my podcast what had happened, so I'm waiting
Mm-hmm.
till announce it. Till then, I can't really speak on it besides that I had gotten into an accident, and pedestrian safety is just something that is very important to me. Due to some legal stuff, I'm not supposed to be speaking on what exactly had happened to me
Okay.
since I never
Okay.
made it on social media. I just find
Mhm.
pedestrian safety very important as somebody who does not have their license. I walk
Mm.
everywhere, so it's just like I find it very important.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. My daughter walks everywhere too. Hey, so hey. That's her thing. For a long time, she would not ride in the front seat of a
Yeah,
car. She would only ride in the back seat of a
yeah.
car.
I'm very and when I can speak on it, I definitely will. I'm just waiting for approval because I want to make it public on my podcast first, and I haven't. It's been a
Oh,
year,
yeah.
so I will hopefully in the time span of all in like August or September of this year coming up, I'll be able to. But people who
Mhm.
know what happened.
Right. Well, I definitely look forward to seeing all the
Yes.
many things that you have coming, because this is a little light tonight, guys, because, Amanda and I are just getting to know each other, and she had some
Yeah.
time on her hand, and you guys know I only do Freedom Fridays and Friends, but when
Oh,
she said I got some extra time tonight, I
yeah.
had to have her on because I just thought her story was so inspiring. You've done a lot of things. Keep on pushing with the podcast. Is there anything that you want to tell my audience? My audience, I am a faith-based podcast. However, I love to have people on that have real stories, real testimonies that they can share with everybody.
Just don't never change for anybody. That's one thing my mother's always told me.
They'll never change. Well, guys, you heard it here. Amanda, tell my listeners where they can find you. Give them your Instagram, your
Spotify,
Facebook.
Spotify, Apple, Amanda's World. Look for the logo. Wait, I have to show it again because there's 3 different Amanda's World logos on this stupid app. This is the one with the purple with the butterfly in the world. Instagram Amanda_14. And yeah, my Facebook's family only. My mom doesn't let me have it public, and that's
Oh, well.
thank you.
And look at that. Look at her. So there you have it, guys.
Also,
I
fun
wonder.
if any zodiac sign podcasts are interested, I'm very big into zodiac signs. I have great stories about that, and yeah, that's one thing my friends know. I'm very into zodiac signs.
Let me ask you this because how I found you, it was in a group. Are you looking to do any collabs with anybody else? When you threw out zodiac signs, are you looking to do any collaborations, be
Yes,
guests on anybody
yeah,
else's show?
anybody who is a zodiac sign based podcast, hit me up, please.
Okay, okay, okay. Well, you guys heard it here. If you wanna be on Amanda's world,
What?
hit her up. Go to her, go to your what is it? You don't have a website,
No,
but you
I don't.
do you
Instagram DM me at Amanda_Penny_14. I give my email, but I have 3 different emails and they're all flooded. So the best
yeah.
way thank you.
You're welcome, Amanda. I know we've been paying touch and go, for the last couple weeks. Thank you so much for coming on and
You're welcome.
sharing your story. I think you are doing some amazing things. To my young listeners out there, Amanda is an example of someone that at the age of 16 developed a very successful podcast within 1 month
Mhm.
of ranting. I don't suggest it, but hey,
No,
it
don't
worked
do
for
I
her.
don't because I'm just gonna just put out here the guy that I had talked about. I started talking to him back in June, and I had to publicly tell him that I had called him out on a Amanda's World, and now he's not speaking to me anymore.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, don't do it. I lost one of my best friends again, but honestly, it's probably for the better, and he'll get over it eventually. Thank you. He'll get over it eventually, but don't do what I did because if I used his name, I probably would have gotten handed a lawsuit. So
Yeah. Well, you definitely got enough followers, guys. Head on over to Amanda's World. Check out her podcast. She
yeah.
said you never know what you're gonna get
Well,
with Amanda. Thank you so much, Amanda, for coming on to the show. That guys, thank you for joining us. Um, let me give a few shout outs here. Chronicles of a Virgo podcast. My Virgo sis said, keep up the great work, Amanda. That is great. all your accolades. And anytime you want to come on and chop it up with 12th Street Talk Back, you are definitely a friend of the podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on. Anyone else that is listening, head on over to Amanda's World. Check out our podcast. And if you want to collab with her, especially if you are a Zodiac
Time podcast,
podcast,
hit me up. Or anything spirituality, hit me up. As you see,
anything spirituality,
like hit me up.
hit her up, guys. Hit her up. And guys, we are definitely out. We'll see you next time. Peace and blessings. Don't forget, on Friday, we got Jamie Smith coming to the show. She's going to share her story with us at 3 p.m. on Friday on Freedom Fridays and Friends. Peace and blessings to you all. And thank you for tuning in for this random Wednesday pop-up show.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Amanda. Thank you for coming on to the show.
Thank you.
Let's see, guys. You know how I do over
No,
here. Everything's going crazy.